Hello, friends. My name's Holly, and you are at Home with Holly. So I just got done with a little bit of a, not a little bit of a big preservation project that I videoed so that I could take you guys along with me. And it's been raining. It was really, really hot and sunny, and then it started raining for a couple days. And it's been like a nice slow rain. And it just stopped, and I have about 40 minutes before Olivia gets off the bus, and there's a lot of garden cleanup. I'll take you out there so you can see because the weather has been just torturing my garden. So we got a lot of cleanup. And I think I'm gonna take you guys out there with me, and we're gonna do a quick cleanup of the garden, right? Let's do that. Let's go outside. Okay, so first of all, let me show you. Sorry for the noise from the air conditioner. We've got berries coming on. That part's great. Asparagus still doing great, doing its little thing. Our fall garden, you guys, it's kind of exploding. Our little fall brassicas. Our fall cucumbers and spinach look great. However, this is our summer pickle cucumbers. This bed needs topped off. These are our other cucumbers. Our melons are getting wrecked by the bugs. We do have our writing spider, two of them actually, doing great. These Brussels sprouts have gotten so big that they're falling over. They need topped off and stood back up. Peppers are doing great. Tomatoes, once we gave them all that airflow, they came back to life. Looking good. I'm not going to mess with those today. Our fall tomatoes, fall determinate tomatoes, those are looking good. The chickens are very loud today because one of our preservation projects was doing corn, preserving corn that I got from a local farmer, and they have been enjoying all of the corn cubs, chicken cubs. And so these are our fall. We did a fall planting of beets and lettuce. Those are all germinating. That's exciting. Olivia's bed, yeah, needs cleaned up. Yeah. So we got some work to do. We got a little bit of time before she gets home. Let's do this. And we're just gonna get to cleaning. Most of this is dead. Or, yeah, it's dead. Even if it's green, there's not enough time for a new melon to fully develop. So, this is not my favorite. Ooh, melon's ripe. That is my favorite. This part is not my favorite part. When the summer garden is like tired and it's been hot and there's bugs and all that stuff. Taking out all these plants is not my favorite, but I love the fact that we get to then feed back the soil and get it ready for, ooh, that was a tough one. Get it ready for what's coming next. Got that little melon out of there. You guys, you're tilted. Follow along. We got this melon. Okay. So one of the things when I first started gardening that was really kind of hard for me was, ripping out plants. Ripping out plants that are past their prime. They are like bug breeding grounds and they're not doing you any favors. It really kind of broke my heart to rip those out. But now that I understand that there are different seasons for each plant, and when they are past their prime, sometimes it's better for your garden and the health of your soil to just go ahead and rip the plants out and put something healthy in its place. Okay, let's go to the next bed. Okay, so in here, we've got some ripe kajaris, and then we have a kajari that you guys can't see. A kajari that grew through the bars. That's not going to work. And then a ton of dead plants. And we do have these two melons still growing, so I'm going to try to avoid those plants and just do the kajaris. Not sure. Well, the next bed I decided to turn around. All right. So this brassica cage is awesome. It keeps all the bugs out. It kind of gives extra support to the plants, but these things were in here and got a little too big. Okay. That was not supposed to be that hard. So what I'm doing, trimming off all the bottom leaves, telling this plant it's time to grow big sprouts. No more up, only big. Oh, this is crazy. Need to cut off. That needs okie dokie. Okay. That's one. He's just gonna fall. What do you think? Stand him up there for just a minute while I get the other ones trimmed. These have been eaten, I'm guessing, by some kind of mouse. That's what I'm guessing. Top that guy off. think this is the first year that my Brussels sprouts have gotten so big that they fell over. It's crazy. Probably should have come in and ripped these leaves off a couple weeks ago, but that's okay. We're doing it now. Basically, yeah, 3 minutes till Olivia gets off the bus. Plus, it's starting to rain. We gotta wrap this up. Stuff in the compost before Olivia gets home. It's starting to rain, but so I'm going to put you guys inside. But those are the 2 piles. Go into the compost. Okay, let's look at the after. This is where the cucumbers were. This is where the onions were. This is where the other cucumbers were. And inside here, I thought I planted 3, but evidently I planted 4 Brussels sprouts, so 4 is too many. 2 would be better in that cage. And something's been chewing on a lot of them, so I just left them, but I topped them. I left this guy, didn't get to him yet. Topped and pruned all of them. That guy's doing awesome. We'll see. Girlies are doing dust baths in there. They're so funny. Alright, and I took Olivia's melons out too. And got some decent germination on most of this, but I might have to reseed some of it, but we'll see. And already starting to see our fall tomatoes, so that's exciting. The hummingbirds have been here. They're loving these zinnias. So are we. Queen's lime lace and some kind of white that we got from somebody at the farmer's market. All the other flowers are pretty much toast. Coneflowers are definitely seeds. Carrots. Carrots are doing great. They still got a ways to go, but they're actually, you know, forming little carrots. You can see them in there. It's happening. Peppers. Lots and lots of peppers. Glad we were able to get that in between the rainstorms. We are going to be making some mango salsa. I'm gonna be making some mango pico in the future, but today we're gonna be making mango salsa that can be canned and shelf stable. So we need to go out to the garden and get some cilantro for this recipe. So let's head out there. The mowers are going. The mowers are going. I'm gonna grab some cilantro and we'll go back inside. Okay, we've got a bunch there, some more down there, and then all along here. So I'm gonna gather up some of this. That's probably enough. We'll go ahead and get started with that. You guys, it's like 94 degrees today. We're doing inside stuff. We're doing inside stuff, not mowing. Not today. Okay, so today we're gonna be doing a new recipe that I haven't ever tried before, so I'm excited to try it. I love mango salsa. I love it on fish, I love it on chicken, I love it on pork, I love it on everything. So I'm excited to have this. So ingredients that we need diced mangoes, we need red onion, diced red bell pepper, cilantro, red pepper flakes, garlic cloves, ginger, brown sugar, vinegar, and water. So I'm gonna go ahead and gather up all that stuff so we can get started. So I know that fresh ginger is not something that a lot of people are used to working with, but the quality difference with fresh ginger and ground ginger is kind of night and day. So the easiest way to tackle it is, I find, to just get the spoon and turn around backwards and scrape off all the extra like nubs and nooks and crannies just to get the skin off of that, and then just go ahead and take a grater and grate up what you're going to use, and anything that you don't use, label and put in the freezer, and it grates from frozen really easily. Calls for red onion, and we've got those. We've got those. Ooh, just almost knocked something over. Okay, let's grab an onion. It calls for 2 onions, so 2 regular size onions. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab a big one. Let's grab this big one. We'll use this one. That'll be perfect. Okay, I peeled off the outer layers and I gave it a quick rinse, but I kind of want to weigh this guy because I think he was our biggest red onion. Yeah, let's weigh him really quick. 1 pound, 5.8 ounces. Can you guys see that? 1 pound, 5.8 ounces. That's a big onion. Friends, this onion
was so huge. This onion was so huge that it was actually probably like the size of way more than what the recipe called for with 2 onions, but that's okay. So with this recipe specifically, all we need to do is chop all the ingredients into whatever size pieces or chunks that we want, and then we're going to put them all together in the pot, bring the pot up to a boil for just a minute. Basically, we're not trying to cook it, we're just trying to get all the flavors to marry and the sugar to dissolve. And then we're actually going to put it into the jars and get it all canned up. So this is not a very complicated recipe. This just takes a minute to get all of our ingredients ready. So, friends, I can't remember if we ever talked about this before, so I'm just gonna kind of go over this. So, the thing about red peppers, yellow peppers, purple peppers, all the color peppers, for sweet peppers, that is, and hot peppers too, really, they all start out as green. They all start out as green. So, green bell peppers, red bell peppers, they're the same pepper. It's just that you left the red ones on the plant longer. So these are giant Marconi peppers that I'm cutting up right now, and I just left them on the plant a little bit longer to see if I could get them to turn red. Sometimes that works. Sometimes they will actually like rot off, or you'll run into a frost or something before they get a chance to all the way turn red. I actually had some pests that were looking at this one that's sitting right on the front of the cutting board, and so I picked it when it was only half red and halfway green. So they all eat the same. I think the red ones maybe do have just a little bit more sweetness, but that could also be in my mind as well. But so this recipe does call for red peppers, and I think that's more of a visual thing. It's not a flavor thing. So don't know that it's 100% necessary to use red peppers. If you just had green peppers or orange peppers or yellow peppers or whatever kind of sweet pepper, it would totally work in this recipe. But for the sake of it looking pretty in the jar, I did try to pull the red ones that I had that were right from the garden to complete this recipe. I actually didn't have a full enough load of red though, so I ended up using this yellow pepper and, the one that's halfway green, halfway red, and I think it's still going to taste pretty good. In fact, I know it's going to taste pretty good because I've sampled it already. So don't fret if the recipe calls for a red pepper or a specific pepper. Just use whatever you can find, whatever you have. Okay, the next part calls for 4 teaspoons chopped fresh cilantro. I love cilantro. I'm gonna go ahead and use like the equivalent of a grocery store bunch essentially. If you don't like cilantro, first of all, I'm sad for you because it's delicious. But if you don't like cilantro, do you. I'm not in your kitchen. Just don't put it in, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and add in a full bunch of cilantro. And since this is from the garden, the stems are pretty tender, so I'm just going to chop all of it up and add it to it. So this just reminds me that what I want to do is peel up all of the garlic that I'm not going to save for seed. I want to peel it all up and get it in the food processor and chop it all up and make little like pucks of garlic that I can just use in recipes instead of having to peel and chop. I love fresh garlic, hate the peeling. So I'm going to get it all processed up in a way that makes it easier for me to just pull out a puck and use it in a recipe. That's how I prefer to do it. Last year I did
I roasted it in oil, kind of like a well, not kind of, exactly like a confit garlic. I did that last year and it's really good, and I still have the little mini jars of it. I actually made it into like this size jar and froze it so that anytime I wanted roasted garlic, I had that. But I still have some of those left, and so I figured, well, I'll make them into the pucks like I've seen some other people do to be able to use for fresh cooking. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna get all this in the pot. And the last thing we need are mangoes and some of the seasonings and brown sugar. So I'm gonna wait to chop up the mangoes till I have this cutting board wiped up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so the recipe calls for 12 cups of diced mangoes. There should be 13 cups in this bag. And I'm just gonna, they're still partially frozen. I'm just gonna kind of run my knife through any like big chunks that there still are. Just because I want them more bite size. Like I think this size would be fine for lots of things, but just want to make them just a hair bit smaller. So I'm gonna get my 4-cup measure so that this goes a little quicker. So I should need 3 of these 4-cup measure. I can almost, yeah, I can chop them up with this almost. I'm just gonna go ahead and make it a little quicker, but most of these were pretty decent size. They're cold, so I don't love touching them. And my hands are gonna start to freeze.
So I bought these mangoes from Azure Standard because it was organic frozen mangoes and they were cheaper than I could find them, even when they sometimes go on sale at like Aldi's or something. They're not organic and they're definitely not cheaper than buying them like this. So this is again one of those things where Azure Standard for the win. And so I was able to pick these up and to be able to have this awesome organic treat. But if you can find them on sale or in season or wherever you are, then definitely pick them up. If you're going to buy them fresh and not frozen, you want to look for the ones that are a little firm and not all the way ripe, because they actually will do a little better to stand up to the cooking process if they're not all the way ripe. So just kind of keep that in mind. But again, you don't have to buy them fresh. You can use the frozen ones. These were the frozen ones in a 5-pound pack from Azure Standard. So use what you can find.
They smell so good. So good. I'm kind of glad these were still halfway frozen because they make them easier to chop with less of a sticky mess situation. Oh no. One went overboard. Love mango. No, this is definitely a little more than 12 cups. Definitely more like 13 or 14 cups, but if I have a little extra to use for some dipping with tortilla chips tonight, I'm not going to be sad. Okay, we are going to add the last few ingredients. I ended up chopping the mangoes and adding them in first. So we are going to add in 1 teaspoon crushed red pepper flakes, 2 cups of brown sugar, and then we're going to add in vinegar and water. So 1 teaspoon crushed red pepper flakes. This is a half a teaspoon, so I'll add in 2 of these. 1, 2. Then 2 cups brown sugar. Again, we make our own brown sugar here just because it's easy, so I just add a cup, molasses to organic cane sugar because it's cheaper than buying organic brown sugar and cheaper than buying brown sugar, honestly. Okay, so we've got 2 cups of brown sugar added. Then we need 2 cups of vinegar, 2.5 cups of vinegar. So we'll do the half cup first. You want to use 5% acidity, vinegar with 5% acidity that's marked right on the container. 1. I'm gonna have to go get another one from the cabinet. Hold tight. Okay, well, we're back. Always keep plenty of these on hand. So we're gonna top this one off. And that's our 2.5 cups. And then we need 1 cup of water. Okay. We are going to bring this up to a boil until the sugar dissolves, not disintegrates. You guys, I need more caffeine. Until the sugar dissolves, and then we're going to put it in our jars, which have been waiting for us in the canner this whole time. You guys, look how pretty. Look how pretty this is. Smells awesome too. I'm excited for this. Okay, it is ready to put in our clean, warm jars.
Okay, so I'm showing you this in fast forward because I end up making a mistake. I fill all these jars and then I have a ton left in the pot and a ton of liquid are in the jars, and I get to thinking, that's not right.
Okay, so as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking I should have used a slotted spoon and gotten mostly the salsa and then just topped it off with the liquid. So hang tight, I'm gonna redo that. All right, we'll try that. We'll see if we can get a little more of the goods in each jar. Yeah, that's probably gonna be a better. Yep. All right, let me put you on time lapse and refill these jars.
Okay, friends, once once we do it the way the recipe actually called for, this actually ends up being the perfect amount to fill all of these pint jars and then top off with liquid. I don't know why I didn't read the recipe better the first time, but here we are. We got it figured out.
Okay, got these refilled, and there's basically only the broth, juicy stuff left in the canner. So that was definitely the right way to do it. Use a slotted spoon or a spider or something when you're trying this recipe. That way you get everything in the jars that's supposed to be, and not a whole bunch of juice instead of the chunks of mango and yumminess. Now I definitely am wiping down these rims. Gotta make sure I debubble. I'll wipe down the rims one more time after I do this. Should have done this first, but so this is going to be, we're looking for a 1/2 inch headspace when we're done. The headspace is just the amount of space in between the lid and the product inside. That way there's a safe amount of air. Too much air and there's too much room for bacteria and bad things. Not enough air, you'll have some siphoning and you won't have necessarily a great seal. So you want to have it right in that sweet spot of the amount that it says for your headspace. So this is looking good. This guy right here has too much and this guy has not enough. So we'll even those out, wipe down the rims one more time, get these guys sealed up with clean new lids, and then we'll use some bands, and then we'll get them in the water bath canner. Finger tight. Finger tight just means tight as you can make it with a finger without cranking your wrist. I'm going to wipe off the outside of the jar on some of these because I had sticky hands. Don't want all of that extra stuff going in the canner. A little bit's fine, but you know, just as long as there's no chunks of cilantro floating around in there. Not that it would hurt the finished product, but just want to try to keep my canner a little less filthy. Look how beautiful this is, you guys. So pretty. Okay, I'm gonna get these all in the canner. Last two I will use the jar lifter for because the water is getting higher. Perfect. And I'll show you what that looks like as we press the buttons on the front. Okay, lids on, tightened. Make sure this is on vent for water bath. Okay, we have filled the jars. So it's gonna start warming up. It's already pretty warm though. And then it's gonna heat up, and then it's going to, once it starts boiling, the countdown will begin. And then we're done. All right, canner's done. Actually, it's been done for a while, but I was on a family call. So here we are, ready to take them out. Eight jars of yummy mango salsa.
I just wanted to come on here and say thank you guys so much for all of your support. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't yet already. I can't wait to see you next time, friends.